You're live. Can I go to YouTube? Corner. Press refresh. Press refresh.
Oh yeah.
Live now.
We got full stream.
Go to studio. Oh, that's why. Try it again. No, right here, right here. With this one.
Testing 1, 2. Yep.
How you? This is what I was just looking. No, no, stop. Go to screen.
Okay. Get my other phone too.
Whoever he comes in. It's Tacc 1107. You're here. Right.
Where's the at Tech?
Go to the search bar. Let us do live right now.
Okay. Well, let me get it. At Tech 1107. Mhm. Didn't go there.
Yo, talk on the mic real quick. Let's keep watching.
Hey, how you everybody doing today? Will you close the mic?
No, go close to the mic.
Oh, close to the
And
mic.
talk. Let me hear you.
Hey, family. I'm trying to find my joint. I can't find it.
There. Look, I'm gonna go back.
It's not coming.
Hmm. Because you didn't put the line.
Okay. This broadcast is going to help heal you, change your mindset, get you on the right track. Because only through adversity can this take place. And This platform that I have consists of five principles, three articles, one here. The first principle is understand your power, God, or whoever you call your creator, to understand that He doesn't make mistakes. The principle is understand where you at in life. He put you there. He's driving the car. And you must take the responsibility, understanding that maybe it's things you did in your life that got you where you at. And He's just trying to show you that. Well, He wants all of us to go to heaven. But it's only your actions that will get you going the upward way. Third principle is the most important to myself, might be to a lot of people, is embracing your journey, understanding that you have a purpose, and everyone has adversity. Your adversity shaped how you who God wants you to be. My adversity shaped mold me to who God wants me to be. But the whole purpose is to pay attention is to get us back to Him. And you must let go of everything in this life. But like He says, not Adam way of pride into the paradise. And what hides in pride, anger, jealousy, envy, all kinds of things that if you don't let them go, you have to get them burned off. And the next, the fourth principle is going to the wall of adversity and looking at all your shortcomings, your fears, and saying to yourself, I can't go over it, under it, or around it, so I must go through. And then the principle is making a conscious decision to go through the wall and then face them fears, embrace that journey. Then once you go through the wall, you're on the road of change. The road of change, as I said, consists of three articles: past, knowledge, wisdom, must go through your what, when, where's, and how. Sometimes who did what, or how did this happen, so forth and so on. But you must be honest. You must be honest. And if you're not honest, you're not going to be able to hear. And this is what it's all about: being honest with yourself and facing the things that you know you don't want in your life anymore, and doing the right thing no matter what. That's why but this is what it's all about. And then once you go through your what's, when, where's, why's, how, and sometime who, in the first part, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Of course, this is the past. These are things that hurt you, that bothered you, and made you afraid of different things that really was nothing. And then you get to the second, which is with, and when you get here, after you pass that first one, and if you're honest, it's going to take a heavy load off your mind, your heart, everything. It's going to teach you not to worry about what happened in the past. It's the future. You know, your past shapes you to become who you are, and it helps you to make boundaries in your life so that when people come in your life, you set your boundaries, and if they love you, they'll accept it. If they don't, they'll try to walk over 'em. But once you get to win, now you start to see life for what it really is. It's not. This life is an illusion, you know. And once you get to understand that, and you go through your what, when's, where, was, how, and sometimes who, and wisdom, you're going to see life in a whole different light, and you're going to be able to manage the things that you and God know that always popped up, and it just ruins your day. You're going to see that there was really was nothing. There was, you know, of course, it never happened. If it happened, you passed. So now, once you get to understand, it's going to be a understanding is where you see life for what it really is, and you see that you made a mountain out of a molehill with the things that you had on your heart that disturbed you. You know, you have to let them go, let God. And, and the beautiful thing about it, when you get to this level, you'll be able to help others. And this is what this is all about: helping each other through adversity. Change takes place only through adversity. Takes place. You're born in this world knowing nothing, you know. And if you think you don't have a purpose, understand this: you're one out of 5 billion sperm cells. So you had a great run, just to get to know that you just have to figure out your purpose. And when you figure out your purpose, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Your life is going to change drastically. Now, once you get past that, then you go to heal. But it's not heal with one A, three A. Help everyone except the three to appreciate love. Why do we have to help? Because helping is God, doing the right thing is God. And you can't just pick and choose who you help is for the people who need it, you know. And then the E comes after H, and that's everyone. You have to help everyone, no matter what. And you'll see how you can change lives after you go through this process, this program, help you heal so that you can understand life better and be able to deal with it like others and show them the right way. A is accept. A lot of us don't know how to accept love. We never really had love. But once you're able to accept love, then you're able to achieve. Because once you achieve love, you understand what love really is. And once you achieve love, you appreciate love. And once you appreciate love, you do everything in your power never to lose it. Because you know how precious it is. Last one is L, and that's love. Love is God, and God is love. Love is the strongest force in the universe. It can make you the happiest. Make you the most important. Love is God. God is love. You keep that in your heart. Everything becomes beautiful. It's not about looking at the past. It's about watching the future and making your way. We got to go through things in order for us to learn how devious this life is. Oh, I can put them in? Invite?
No, they're already there. They're supposed to be. You're
Can
watching
I
them right now. Look, people watching.
can I talk to them now?
Talking right now. This is loud.
Oh, peace. Hey, hello, E Money. Beautiful words. Well, it's just something that we go through and we just, okay, HBVP. Peace, brother. Peace, peace. Um, yeah, it's no question. You have to act from love. 'Cause love is God, and a lot of people think they're God, but God is within, you know, and when God comes within, He doesn't come within a vessel that's weak. He comes with vessels that He know they can heal. And when you give God back, you get back God. That's the beautiful thing in the world, And my thing is helping everyone that I can because we all, we've been uh, hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. And my thing is now we have to learn, unlearn, so that we can relearn, so that we can heal, so that we can help each other to grow, so that we can become a power. No one say, "Oh no, we earn our people. We don't even need you. We have enough of us to maintain everything that we do." And the beautiful thing about it, we can do it, but we must heal. Everybody. We've been lied to so much, man. And you can see how the world is going right now. The things that are going on now. I was born with, there's manners, rules, laws, and certain things. It's like we must right now. We have to have that fight because they're going to dog themselves. In any uh, democracy, it is from inside. So it's not our fight is heal, coming together so we can heal during this process. And see, I have born fly, please. I thank you for being here. Subscribe. I need as many as y'all. And I have a book. My book is out. It's on Amazon through Apple. Some change topic. It's on Amazon. Um, and check out the wisdom, this is, I did 28 years in federal prison. I come from a mother that raised 3 boys by herself, but my mother owned 3 bars in a candy store, taxi cab. Oh, my mother was kind of a gangster, but I wind up going to prison. That's the question. We wind our mindset to positivity. That's what it's about. That's and I'm going live with the camera probably Friday or Saturday because I ordered it and I got to get my headphones too, so it's no problem. It's a done deal. And then I'm gonna stream on all platforms at once. But it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. And I'm gonna take you guys on the journey, and I'm gonna give this right here, right? I gave my book to my cab driver. He started crying. Of course, the things he's my autograph, gave it to him. He's like, man, I need it. It's like God. See, God puts you in the places when you have to give love. He puts you in the places to show to give the love, to help others. That's our mission in life. We have to let go all the isms in life in order for us to be able to get back to the Most High. He wants all of us to go to heaven. But if you want to follow the devil, that means you want to go with him. So he's going to let you go with him. And this is just what it is. We have to understand the devil is not our friend, it's our enemy. And this is the thing that God gave. He gave us discernment from right and wrong. You see what I'm saying? He gave us the difference between right and wrong. And the beautiful thing about it, you feel it when you get like I vibrate on a different level. Like I don't vibrate like regular no more. I can see all from a mile away. And just last year, Ramadan, the last day of Ramadan, I got shot 9 times by another Muslim. He wound up dying right in my apartment, my other apartment. And I had to pray for the brother, because where he's at, man, it's not gonna be nice. I just want us all to be able to one day be up in paradise, man, and just, life is great. We made it through this hell down here, we let go. I thank you, my brother. Yeah, but I'm still strong. You know, I got a half a hip plate, a rod, and some more screws, you know what I mean? But I'm rocking. I'm in therapy. I got a bike in my crib, I'm doing what I gotta do, you know. And when you get knocked down 10 times, you get up 11, you know, and that's what it's all about. Understanding that God got us, and you gotta pray. Man, you gotta pray. You gotta give if you give him his, he gonna give you yours. I got a few brothers that I tell that to, and when they do, man, make it happen. You have to do your part. We're all his creation, and he wouldn't have made us if he didn't love us. He didn't make us to suffer, but when some people are giving money, that's a test. It's a test. It's either gonna make just like if you don't become rich, it's a test. See if you're gonna be obedient. That's gonna be a hard one. And people think you can have money, and that test is harder than a broke person because a broke person can be content with having nothing long as he's able to sustain himself. But a rich person has all this. He got people coming from here and there. He got lusts and desires. Money brings all kinds. Of, it's not the love of money that's beautiful. It's the love of what it does that makes you do the things you do. You know what I mean? If you understand the money is to help people. It's not to spoil them. God says that a spendthrift is the cousin of the devil. We go out and buy. We uh, uh, look rich. Rich people don't do that. They already got their money. You know what I mean? We trying to look rich. We spending the money. make ourselves look like something that we really. And if we just be regular, do the things we need to do, help our children to grow, help our women, help our husbands, help our cousins, our grannies, start getting together with businesses, start, you know, getting land, start growing our own food, farming our own animals, because they trying to knock us off with the stuff they do. We start doing that, buy black, and it's not a racist thing. It's about survival. You see what they doing, you think we next, you know, and we got to come together. And if we don't come together, be vicious, man. We got a lawless motherfucking government right there. This is crazy. Keep my fresh, but it's the truth. The lawless government, man. It's sad for the simple fact that grew up with moral scruples and principles, and there is, you know, I did 28 years of my life in federal. I ain't even get caught. No, no. People talk, and I got in. They got pictures, video, audio, everything, and nothing. I'm like, man, damn. The beautiful thing about God said, "Don't worry about that. I understand you mad because you had to do yours, but look, you're free of that. Under the law." And then see when he gives you the wisdom after you go, shows you like God got the biggest shoulders in the universe. He can handle anything. Why would you do something? Because I wanted to act out, because I've been wrong. He said, and if you do that, I'm gonna give you what I'm gonna give them. Let me- They wrong you, they gotta pay. If you wrong them, then you gotta pay. So I'll give it to him. This is what, like I tell people, give everybody who's ask God to forgive me. But most important, myself. And this is when God gave me the peace. Even when I got shot, I never felt not one bullet, 9 bullets. I ain't feel not one. You understand what I'm saying? This is how God works in my life. The last year of Ramadan was over, officially over. It's 11 something. I ain't feel not one bullet. And I was, and the one that did it, like, I pray to forgive him. Because I forgive him. And it's like, life is what it is. Life is what it is. And you have to understand that in life, things are going to happen. Dust yourself off, get up, and make it. And then the beautiful thing about it, after I got out of the hospital, this is when I wrote my book. And now my book is on Amazon. Through Adversity Come Change. There's two of them. Through Adversity Come Change. You have Through Adversity Come Change, which is the Kindle. You know, it's a beautiful thing, man. Being able to not be angry, uh, take that energy, that, make that energy something of greatness. Help others to heal. Help others to do the right thing. This is what it's all about. But look, I'm going to stop for 1 minute. I got to make prayer right quick, and I'm so don't go nowhere. Right. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm back. Um, I'm 61. My name is Rich Coleman. It's on the book. You can see it. You can see that. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from the book. Hit that light for me, see what it's about. Right. This is the dedication. check out the dedication. My glasses. All right, this is what is this dedication to those who've been broken and rebuilt, to every soul that learned faith in the dark. This book is for the ones who kept walking when it would have been easier to stop. Just check that out for a second. Just put that in your mind for a second. For the ones who kept walking when it would have been easy. So it ain't like fell out 10 times and you just laid there. We have times and got up. Scars remind you that survival was never the goal. Becoming was. Becoming the person that you are now. Understanding that, you know, no matter what you go through, you're gonna make it through. Everything God makes, He takes care of. What you gotta understand is that, like I tell you, you have a purpose, and everybody has adversity. Your adversities shape and mold you to who God wants you to be if you pay attention. This is why I tell you, you have to be 100% real when you do this program. You can't fake at all because you're not gonna get the blessing. You have to really look at like I said, 28 years in federal prison. I was rich before. I grew up privileged, traveling the world with a mother that had money, um, losing everything. You know the story. I had a business, I had a restaurant in Harlem. I had houses in Newark, I had a house in Georgia. Family beat me out of it, lost, left wife left, took the money, left, lost everything. But that's life, you know. You can turn my kids against me, but that's life. I still love everybody the same. I just don't deal with them. Sometimes you just have to love people from afar. There's nothing that you can do, man. You know, my father always told me something. There's nothing closer than teeth and gums, and they fall out. Dig that. Just think about the things I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm healing. I'm getting stronger. You know, um, you can't let nothing in this life put you down because where I'm trying to go is going to be much better, man. You know, we have no worries, no nothing. You have to just live right. I don't care what you are, a Jew, a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddha, or people who never even had religion. If you live right, God is watching. Got an angel on the left and an angel on the right, taking note. Everything you do, say, and think. This is why prayer is so important 5 times a day because you clean yourself and you go and ask for things you know you did, the things you don't. And it's a beautiful thing, man, when you understand, like, man, God has different ways to help us to make it through. I love it, and even like when I did my first bid, I got 17 and a half years, right, in the Fed. I thought that time was never going to end. That time ended. Then I went and did another 11. Then I went and did 20. But I got the Trump joint, and they let me out early, 5 years, 3 months early. Then they wound up putting me back in jail for taking medicine they told me to take, and stayed in 18 months and beat it and got a compassion release. Took all the time home. I did the right thing. They ain't gonna give you a chance and then you mess up, they gonna put you out again. No, I did the right thing and they lied. That's how life is. I'm not mad because that time helped me to understand what I was going through something and I was doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. But now I'm back on track. Like I said, I'm thinking, you know, about knowing your place in life. And like I said, your adversity shape and mold you to who God wants you to be. He puts you through these adversity to make you strong so you can deal with the things He has for you in the future. If you don't do that, then you can't get the blessings in the future. But you must grow to a point where you're able to understand. You can see what He's doing. Like something happened, you man, what? When you get to understand when He do something right away, okay, save him. It's a higher vibration. Do I feel free? Do I feel, man, bird? I have no worry. God takes great care of me. Let me get some likes and shares, y'all. Give me, send some of your many blessings. Let me get some likes and shares. Okay. Yeah, I got 6 likes. Okay. Let me get some subscribers. Let me get some subscribers. Yeah, let me get some subscribers, man. We're gonna do this, man. This is gonna be a daily thing. I'm gonna invite y'all into my world, man. Let y'all know that we can go through all of the trials and tribulations in life, man. Still win. It's in your heart, you know. I'm not a loser, I'm a winner, no matter what. I'm gonna make it great for myself. A lot of people say, "Oh man, these people got their." No, you got too long, and I'm messed up now. I'm gonna make a way for myself. I've always have. I've been on my own since I was 18. I take care of my girl, you know. And I'm 61, going on 60. I've been on my own ever since. Lived modest. I've lived rich. I've lived medium, and I've lived poor. But most of all, I don't get to live. I don't have no regrets. Let me tell you, if you have regrets, those are the things that God put in your life to make you realize, what was something bad that you may have done or whatever, and He's showing you, like, yo, that ain't, that ain't cool. You don't regret it because it shaped you to mold you to make you understand now that that kind of stuff ain't cool. You feel me? So you have to go. So never regret nothing because everything He put you through is for a reason. And if you don't think so, just keep watching life. If you pay attention, man, it'll shape and mold you to who you supposed to. I love my life. When I was a kid, I was a little fat guy. I had low self-esteem. That's what drove me to the street. And I made millions. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm a Harlem cat. I had spots, 9 in Harlem, all at the same time. 8, man, for 3 years about, you know, crazy, crazy money. But it ain't about that. I regret that because I hurt a lot of people. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now, my repentance, asking for forgiveness, 'cause I hurt a lot of people, man. In order for you to become a millionaire in the street, you gotta hurt a lot of people. And it's not physically, we poison up, and I was the best customer. Probably used more of the drugs than that, but I had a lot of it. This is what the game kept you to now. I'm still on my medication is marijuana, but I'm drug and I don't have a desire. What I'm aiming for, bro, is while I was in prison, I got a honorary master's degree in 30 after vice and business. This book is part of it. I did years on live on Facebook. Tacc. I got a bunch of videos. You go to Facebook, Rich Coleman, and you can see my videos. Facebook from 2023 on. My theory in life is just living right. doing right by your brother man, you know, doing right by yourself, most importantly. You know, and like I said, I created 30 Active Life business concept. I got like 10 businesses. I got my LLC, my EIN. So my goal is to make money so I can bring this to fruition. I have a small service I created that I'm waiting to put out. You know, it's called a Tacc, helping everyone heal through health. You know, and this is about it's a movement. I have a disease detection device, help everyone heal through medicine. Tacc, it's about book, helping everyone heal. This is what life is about. Going through your adversities, making the change you need to make, and doing the right thing, man. And see, when you vibrate on a high level, you attract people on a high level. You don't just attract regular degglers or people who are hurting, who want to heal. Like I told you, I gave a book to a cab driver. He just broke down. Just that first little thing I read to those who are broken and weeping, you know, because he's going through something. How do I feel about the war? Um, it's unnecessary, and they're just trying to hide the evidence out, you know. And he start a war, you know. But it is what it is, you know. You know, what can we do? Nothing we can do. You know, they have the whole everything, right, the whole Justice Department, judges, everybody. There's nothing you can do. So you just have to sit back and watch. You know, I could, you know, really expound on it, but it's not even worth it, you know, because it's just a positive platform here. I'm helping people heal. That's just gonna make people mad. It's I mean, you can call it that, but, you know, we exist in a world. This world, like the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, travel to the world as if you're a stranger. Do not get attached to anything because you take nothing from the earth with you when you die. That's why I told you earlier. God says not an atom's weight of pride in paradise. What hides in pride? Jealousy, all kinds of isms and schisms that are no good. So if you have any of that in you, you can't. That's why I told you I let everything. I was able to forgive me. You know how hard it is to forgive you. And that's when God gave me peace. Even after getting shot 9 times, I'm still, and I'm not mad at nobody. I forgive everyone. It is what it is. You know, I made it to another. I wasn't even supposed to be here this year, but by the grace of God, I got a book out. Red Mercy Come Change that everybody can read, and it's small. It's just a small book. It's only uh, 83 pages. Only 83 pages. But the 83 pages is powerful, you know. 83 pages is powerful. Just like the first part. I'm gonna read you another part, you know. Excuse me. It says, and above all, God, whose plan made sense only after the pain. Dig that. Just think about that for a minute. Only after the pain. Through adversity comes change. You gotta go through the pain, brother, so you can learn life. It's like a kid. You say the stove is hot, hot, hot. What are you gonna touch? He has to go through life. We all are life lessons. Because this world is vicious, man. And see, what a lot of people don't understand is that the devil is real. His trick is to make you think he's not. But he has minions, man, and they come crazy. at you from all angles. And all he can do is whisper to you. We have our own lower self and our own knobs that make us, you know, victims to our own selves. And we have to get out of that. This is why you have to learn to vibrate on a higher level. You have to heal first so that you can understand life better. Most people are comfortable being uncomfortable, but we have to learn to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable so that we can be comfortable with being comfortable. I know that sounds great. Until we able to be comfortable with being comfortable, we're not going to be there. We have to give up all the things like we want this, we want that. We want to look. If you want something, you got to sacrifice. So like, it's about you get to where you need to be. Like I said, billionaires. A billionaire can walk past you, won't even know. You got a worn up shoes and sneakers and pants, and you got to have the diamonds and the cars. We have to get out, make our money work for us. Back in the day, Tulsa, Oklahoma, it took a year and a half for the dollar to leave the neighborhood. It says 15 minutes, something like that, out the neighborhood. Crazy. Everybody makes money off of themselves. It's time for us to make money off ourselves. They say we stupid, we this, we that, but we created everything. Most of the inventions that have been created in America was created by us. We're not strong. We're the strongest. Everything we do, we win. Everything we do, we win. We got the best basketball, baseball, football, scientists, doctors, lawyers, you name it. Anything we get into, we dominate. Everything we create, they steal. And they monetize. It's time for us to monetizing ourselves. And how do we change set our mind? Going through this process. The 5 principles, 3 articles. It's about reflecting on yourself. Like I tell you in the beginning, I tell you, write all your shortcomings, fears, your adversity, all the isms and schisms that go on in your mind that make you feel away. Especially the things that only you and God know that, every time you think about it, your days are destroyed. You gotta write them down. And then see, this is how great the process is. That's why I tell people, this is not my word. This is God. God, when I was in jail, God woke me up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with just ideas. And I had to sleep in the bed, writing them down every night, 6 years, and then I put them together. It turned out to be 38. So this is God's word. This is why it comes easy. This is why it comes easy because it's real. And I mean, you can believe what you want, you know, but you got to look in the mirror and face yourself. It's not about what the world is or this, that is. It's not about that. It's about this. When you looking outside of you, you're not paying attention. See how you went from, it could be flat or round. You worrying about the wrong thing. That can't heal you if the world is flat. Is that going to help you to heal? No. Look at you in the mirror. Face them fears. Face them shortcomings. Face the things that only you and God know that hurt you. Face them. And say, you know what? I'm not gonna let you control me no more. And you face them and you deal with them and you whoop them. But you have to go through the process. 5 principles, 3 R's, healing. Everyone accept you and appreciate love. How can how can the world be flat? I don't even get into that. You know what I mean? Man, that's what you believe. I can't stop you from believing what you understand what I'm saying? I can't. My father used to say, that's your mouth. You can haul shit in if you want. I can't stop. So what you believe is what you believe. But that's not gonna help you. You gotta go through this process and look yourself in the face and don't lie. You can't lie. Like I tell you, if you're not 100% real, the program's not gonna work because those things are still. But if you go through the process, you're gonna get rid of those things and see that those things was nothing. You made a mountain out of molehill because you had it in your mind what, and it's not because you're not going through it. That happened in the past, but it was traumatic. Yeah, people change. I changed. I was a dope boy. I made millions of dollars. I lived like royalty. Then I was with nothing in the jail cell. Everybody else spent my money, and I was mad for a while. Then I was like, I reinvented myself and changed my mindset. I created 30 African business concepts. That's change. I was like, I'm not gonna do that no more. You know, because I thought I would die in the street. I didn't think I was gonna live. Like, tell you the truth, I was in them streets hard at 18. You know, but God, I had a good heart. It's about having a great. Yeah, but that's shit. My wife left me and took the money, screwed my friends, turned my kids against me. That's on her. She gotta pay for that. You gotta let that go. You know? It is what it is. It is. You know, like I tell you, ain't nothing close than teeth and gums, and they fall. It is what it is. Yeah, she didn't believe in you, but if you show her, she's gonna regret. You just have to do your part. You worried about what she thinks around the you upset, boy. But you can still move on from it. You know that, right? You can look, man, you gotta let that shit go. How can you drown a fish? You hold them down in the water and don't let them swim. They gotta keep moving. It'll drown. It's up, I understand. But yeah, man, it's not about that, man. You gotta look at within. Everybody looks outside for the cure. The cure is in you. You just have to have the right mindset. Yeah, we do learn stuff every day, and you gotta keep growing. You gotta keep doing, you know? It is what it is, Let me get them likes and subscribe, y'all. Come on, bless me. Hit me up, hit me up. But yeah, man, it's about growth, man. And we're not gonna make it until we come together. Can't come together until we heal. Period. Let's learn the truth from the lie. We've been lied to so much that we believe the lie and hate the truth. It's real. That's the trick of the devil. You know what I mean? We think that it ain't what it is, and we go for it. But when you vibrate on a different level, you see a lie for what it is, and you see people for who they are, and you know to stay away from it. Vibration it's not like yours. It's like magnet. Put two positives on a repel. So I've learned to get away from people. Game over, what that mean? What does game over mean? I don't understand that. But it's about like I said, facing your fears, man. Facing the things that really bother and get that out there, man. Relieved I was, after all of me years in jail and then finally getting all that stuff go, you know, cross and hurt me and whatever. And was just like, man, it is what it is. Life you go, but it made me a better person. And see, this is what people understand. When you go through things in life, it makes you a better period. If you pay attention. If you don't pay attention, you're gonna be a fool. But when you pay attention, man, life is so beautiful. You can't even imagine. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When snake reveal itself, yeah, no question. You see, but when you vibrate on high level, you see the snake in the grass before it's close to you to bite you. You know what I mean? You got vision. You know, healing. You gotta heal first. Heal, my brother. Nothing's gonna change till you face your fears. Nothing's gonna change. You're able to look in that mirror and say, "Man, you know what? I made some mistakes in my life, but I'm gonna and move on. Don't let that shit keep you down because it will. Trust me, I've been there. And the great part about it, God helps you when you want to change. He helps you. When you don't, it's like okay. That's why I say you got to pray. You got to want to change, and until you want to change, nothing. Like they say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. You know, nothing changes, nothing changes. And the whole thing is you got to keep striving, keep looking in the mirror, self-analyzing, self-checking yourself. Yo, when you're right is right, is wrong, and just doing the right thing. I can't see it no better. Just keep doing the right thing, no matter what nobody else do. I'm gonna read the introduction. Check this out. Life will test you, not to break you, but to introduce you to yourself. What I say when you look in the mirror, yourself. Life will introduce you to yourself. The storms aren't punishment; they're a process. You go through storms and you weather the storm. You understand the storm, so you can navigate the storm. Every time you fall apart, something secret gets rebuilt. This is the truth I've learned and lived. Change doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in chaos. Check that out. Through adversity comes change. You got to go through it to get to it. It comes wrapped in chaos. What is it's almost it's taught me it's therapeutic. I'm just playing. But when you learn to walk through the pain with purpose, you stop asking why me and start asking what's next. Like that. Just listen to the wisdom. I'm gonna read that again. But when you learn to walk through the pain with purpose, you stop asking why me and start asking what's next. That's growth. Understand? That's wisdom. You know, being able to see the things that you went through and understand. Like it's just a test. Get me strong. God has for me in the future. Like a lot of people take shortcuts. What did that leave? All the time it leaves you short. Not even 1% make it. Yeah, no pain, no. Not 1% make it out. Everybody get caught some kind of way. This book is a testimony in my truth. It builds for everyone walking through the fire right now. You're not meant to stay. You're meant to rise from it. Take that and let's walk this journey together. You know what I'm saying? Let's walk this journey together. Help me to build this platform so that I can We got a million subscribers. We all healing, and we all start to build businesses and things together. Yeah, you got a better one. Who else is better than you? No question. You got to go with him first. And you said, if you still blessed to have a mother and father, the God is them than you, because you get to God through your mother's foot. She sacrificed for 9 months and then some, and bore the pain. You can always respect your parents no matter what. Our book is on Amazon. Through adversity comes change. Yeah, you go right to Amazon book, through adversity, and you'll see a green book. This is chapter one, God, the root of all change. You know what you know about change? Can we root of all change? It's $20. Cheap. Wisdom is very cheap. Right? Check this out. Everything begins here. Before adversity, before awakening, before healing, there's God. Check that out. Before any but think the things that they say. Before adversity, before awakening, before healing, what we say, through adversity comes change. So it's telling you that there's going to be adversity. And if you pay attention, there'll be awakening. And after the awakening is what? Healing. Not the distant deity people argue about, but the quiet force that keeps your lungs filled when your mind is. And my book has Bible, Quran, Hadith, philosophers, poets, people prominent. Ain't no question you can't beat their wisdom. Man, this will change your life. Best investment you'll make, you know. And I'm gonna be on here every day. I can give you all this. Of course, this ain't mine. You can't keep it unless you give it away. I just need y'all to like, subscribe, and the gifts and all that kind of stuff, so I can keep the platform what it's called. You know, I want to be able to give it to you. I was lucky to have gone through all the things I went and still able to help others. I've been bitter, you know what I'm saying? I could have been mad. I could have been anything, but God said, "Just deal with your problems. You go out there and take over the world." And this is about. He didn't give me these 30 apps business concept for nothing. He ain't wake me up 6 years for nothing. Preparing me for right now. Look, right now he's preparing me. And I got a physical book, Amazon. Me, the drug dealer. I'm a author. You understand what I'm saying? I changed my life. I went from being rich, being in jail, being in a halfway house, then being in a shelter, then having my own place, then getting shot 9 times, and then coming home and taking that energy and being positive and wrote a book that's helping people to change. I thank you. I thank you. Respect. It's my job. This is not my word. This is God's word. This is to help everybody to heal before it's too late. I just want to be able to leave a legacy that, man, he finally did the right thing. Because when you're a four-time felon like yourself, oh, he's a criminal. He's a jail. No, that was why I had to go learn who God was. That's why I had to go learn the things that I need to know about the world. That's what I need to know about people. That's why I need to learn different skills in life. I didn't just take that time and jack it off TV. Look, I learned. I studied the world. I studied about everything. I had a master's degree in business. How many people you know, and still not bitter, still wanting to help people. Could have been the opposite. No, I'm 61 going to 62. I'm not going to live 62 more years. Some water. We can network through these different platforms. Excuse me, I gotta get some water. Excuse me. Yeah, we going and see. I'm gonna be on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. So I'm gonna be streaming live on. I'm just waiting for my camera, and I gotta get my headphones. But it'll be inshallah this weekend. Hope inshallah. And you'll be able to see me live, and, and we can talk. This is what this is about. You know, Helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate. That's what we miss. We miss love. You know, this is why things are the way they are in this world. Because there's no love. Like I told you, once you're able to accept and achieve, then you appreciate love. You do everything in your powers never to, because love is God and God is love. When you feel real love, it's the best feeling in the world. You know what I mean? Husband coming home to his wife, they greet him at the door, hugs and kisses the kids. It's nothing like that. Your house is a sanctuary. No worries, no arguing. Everybody's a beautiful thing. When you find love, when you have peace, and you give it the peace to your family. Unfortunately, all my family's dead, and the people that are alive, we don't speak. It is what it is, though. That's how life is. You know what I'm saying? It's about how you deal with life. If you look at it as positive or you look at it as negative. Try to stay on positive. It feels wrong doesn't even feel. I remember when wrong felt so good. Now it doesn't feel good at all. You know, it's a sad affair, but it is what it is. Sad but true, bad but fair. Just have to learn to navigate. So I said everything he puts you through is make you stronger to deal with life. Because this is a cruel, really, really cruel world. It's not easy, but we as a people, we always survive no matter what. We've learned to survive because we are the original people. That's the DNA to drive. Like I said, we dominate everything we do is stolen. How life, you just have to understand. But I'm gonna read you some more of the book. This is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know faith isn't a ceremony, it's a connection. It's the thread that runs through pain, pulling you towards. Dig that? Pain brings you to helping you to heal. But it's all how you look at it. You can look at it in a positive light. You can look at it in a negative light. It's up to you. But you must look at it. One day you have to face all the stuff you went through if you want to make it to the paradise. I don't know if you believe in God, but I believe in God wholeheartedly. Heaven and hell. I don't want to go to hell. It's too hot. I don't even like when it gets hot in summer. And hell puts 7 times hotter than the sun. No. This is what I want everybody. I don't want to go there. As many people as I can to help heal so we can go. I like to see paradise. I like to see it. So, and I get some more subscribers and likes and shares and whatever, it's interesting. Every storm has a teacher, but you only meet it when you stop trying to control the weather. Dig that. You have to stop control and let- This is what it's about. You, and I don't want to sound like I'm religious. I'm spiritual. I know that doing the right, most people don't understand. You know, what's going on right now. It's a lot of lawlessness, and people are cool with it. That's not cool. Things that they're doing with babies and stuff like that. It's really cool. But it is what it is, and we gotta stay focused. You know, God is watching. We gotta do what we have, and what is that? You're looking at me and make the change so that you can heal, so that we can learn the truth from the lie and do the right thing. It's time. Adversity will test your faith before it tests your powers. Think about that. It'll test your patience before it tests your power. That's not deep. I don't know what deep. And yet, through it all, God remains unmoved, waiting for you to remember where home really is. The mission is getting back to the Most High, doing the things we need to do so when we leave this earth, we can go to the next one at peace. When life burns down what you built, don't rush to rebuild. Sit in the ashes long enough to learn that that's where clarity hides. And look, just sit back and reflect. And you don't just reflect, but you have to be honest, 100% with yourself. You can't like sugarcoat things and oh no, or give it. Be able to be with yourself. Maybe I put myself right over. However, you know, that's the second principle. Understand the way of life. He put you there because he's driving the car. Think about it. You don't make mistakes. The way if you have life, you must take the understanding and the responsibility. Say, yo, man, I might have, put myself in a bad situation. It is what it is. But the beautiful thing about it is not saying anything. It's getting out of it. Moses met God in a burning bush, not in a calm meadow. Think about it. That was an adversity. Rain. Oh, no, call him. Come on back. Sacred her. Quran 94:6. Indeed, with every hardship comes ease. And in the that's two times back to back, with every hardship comes ease, without hardship, with every hardship comes an ease. So what God is seeing for every one hardship you got two ease. This is how great he is. That's knowledge. Thank you. This is how great he is. Through the hardship ease. But like I said, you have to be real. You have to pay attention. Thank you. Thank you. The foundation of faith is trust, not proof. The proof shows up after obedience. Check that out. The proof shows up. Meaning, you got to do the right thing. Once you do the right thing, God walks you through the rest of it. But you got to put the first foot forward. If you put the first foot forward, it's not going to work. You got to put the first foot forward. When you stop trying to be your own savior, you start seeing miracles in ordinary things, in breath, sunrise, in God. Sometimes you got to get out your own way, you know. But the only way you can do that, you have to be 100% real with yourself, and that's what a lot of people are not. They want to be this, they want to be that, instead of just being themselves. But when you understand, that's when you're able to heal, you know,
Awesome!
able to heal, and it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, see, this is where it comes when you talk conversation with them. Huh? Okay. Okay. Uh, interesting. Press one. Yeah, listen, you did a sound effect. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just testing out the thing. Yell, cheer, kiss, awesome, freedom. Gunshot. There you go. Uh, Give me 5 minutes. Bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to put on some music so y'all can listen to while I'm. Oh, look, let's see how to do that. Look. All right, I gotta mirror it. I want to take that break and put the subscribe shit. Like, what if you go to do that? Overlay. I'm saying, what did you hit? Media access. Okay. How do I put the music on? Bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to put some music on while I make prayer. Uh, Let me pray right
The era of the AI trade-off is over. No more choosing between fast and affordable. Welcome to the new base.
We just have it there in the background. I can take a break.
All right, good.
That's another thing to add too. Always have it ready. Grab it in the background. Just like this before we take a break.
Yeah.
Quick after. So, there it is right there.
Hey, family, we back. I like this
So you
one.
gotta constantly attempt to start doing it.
When you reach a million subscribers, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, I appreciate that. Ramadan. Eid Mubarak. Uh, HB, HHD, HHD.
Something among them.
And,
Common.
yeah, give us a number. I appreciate your feedback. You know, always use feedback. But, I had to give a law here. My glasses. Where I put my glasses? Oh, right there. Come on, y'all need some likes and subscribes. Come on, I need to get this joint popping. And this is about the conversation within. Like I tell you, everything starts within. It's not outside of you, it's in you. Check me out. You hear two voices in the storm. One says give up, the other one whispers get up. Which one are you? You give up or you give up? I'm the get up. No matter what. After all I've been through, I still strive. I still get up. You know, I do what I have to do no matter what. Because I know that he's watching. You know, you know, and you gotta just always do the right thing. My thing is, man, no matter what, you gotta do the right thing no matter what. I don't care what nobody else do, because on the day of judgment, you're only held accountable for what you do. Now take this. It says the first feeds fear, giving up. The second feeds faith, getting up. Which one are you? Every prophet, poet, and survivor had to listen past the noise. Let me say that again. Every prophet, poet, and survivor had to listen past the noise. Do you understand what that means? Even Jesus cried out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Before resurrection came, faith doesn't doubt, it outlasts. Think about that for a second. Faith outlasts everything. It's up to you. You know, you can be a person that talks about it. You can put that to YouTube on there, or you can be a person that does something about it. I just always believed that, growing up with a strong mother like I had, you know, running 3 cars, candy store, cab, you know, running, doing it by herself, no man in the house, most, and she did it with a ninth grade education, you know. So that put in my heart that I can do anything because my mother was strong. My mother was a boss for real. She ain't take no stuff. May Allah be pleased with her. But life still goes on. When the people you love become a memory, cherish that memory and remember that treasure. And think of the past. Feels better. Chapter 2, accepting responsibility. Where you are is where you meant to be. Like I told you, the second principle. Wherever you ever at in life, God put you there because He want to drive the car. And He made the mistake. And you must face the fact that maybe something that you did got you. And then you have to understand, like, He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to heal you. He's trying to make you better. He's trying to show you something that makes you stronger. So when you start doing the right thing, you got all those blessings waiting for you. You know, a lot of people don't understand. Every season has a reason, even the ones that hurt. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's awareness. It's the moment you stop asking why me and start asking what now. For everything there's a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. We like to imagine change as a clean break. It's not easy. Change is not easy. Everything in life is work that's gonna be tough. But what is so great, you know, when you able to when you able to go through the storm, it's a beautiful thing. We like to imagine, I'm gonna say this again. We like to imagine that change is a clean break. It is. It's a slow unfolding, a process that keeps revealing what's true. Responsibility enters when you stop blaming the world and start building within. Just let's think about that for a second. You know, we look everywhere except the right place. What in. You gotta it's not out, it's in. And when you're able to build from that, man, it's a blessing. The mirror of accountability. You can't heal what you won't face. Think about that. You heal something you're not trying to face. This is where the fourth principle comes in. You must face that wall of adversity, all your fears, your shortcomings, all the things that you've gone, you gotta face it, period. You know, and be able to be truthful to yourself, like, yeah, well, sometimes we messed up. I fucked up. French, but I fucked up, you know, and wipe yourself off, because all of it is a learning process. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we go through is a learning process. We're born in this world knowing nothing, and we grow to become scholars one day by going through adversity. Yes, sir. Everything is all connected. Yeah, all one. And when you understand that oneness outside of you, it's within you. It's just what you want. You want the right thing. Another thing, so accountability is a mirror. Sometimes it shows what you don't want to see. Think. Sometimes you don't want to face that. Like, I done did some. I don't want. I must face it. I made mistakes. I'm human. I'm human. And when you're able to say, like, man, when you're able to face that mirror. That's why I tell you, that mirror, a bad boy. You're able to face that mirror and say, time to change. Time to do the right thing. Time for me to face my fears. It's time for me to understand life how God wanted me to understand life. You know, but that reflection is your roadmap. Think about that. That reflection is your roadmap. Meaning, reflection is God showing you what you need in your life and what you don't need in your life. What you want in your life, what you don't want in your life. But you got to face that before they put that dust on you. You got to face that if you want to heal. You don't want to heal. The world won't always apologize for the things it put you through. Some closures you have to create yourself. Like I was saying earlier, put him in his dog, his girl, you know, and he drowned in the fish. You gotta let that go. You know what I mean? See what that says? The world won't always apologize for the things it put you through. Sometimes closure you have to create yourself. Sometimes you just gotta let go and let God. You gotta, man. It's hard. The fears of the heart are very difficult. You know, no question. The affairs of the heart are very, very deep things. So it's hard to let go. But if you want to heal, this is the Quran 13:11. Indeed, Allah will not change the conditions of a people to change what is in themselves. He's not going to change you until you face that mirror and change within. And you know it because He give us free will. We know right from wrong. We know when we're doing the right thing. But human. This is why we have to pray. That's why we have to ask for forgiveness. Because we're going to mess up. It's a part of learning. We're not, there's no handbook on how to live. Just going through life, when life is life, you know what I mean? And that what you want, what you don't want in life. When you do that, man, life is beautiful. You just got to put the work in. You just got to put the work in, man. You got to want, he don't change you until you change within yourself. He's telling you. It's not my words, it's God's word. That indeed, a law will not change the condition of a person, people, until they change what is themselves. They- Change begins the day you stop waiting for someone else to fix you. Accepting without action is just surrender dressed up as dig that. Go on that for a second. Gunshot. Did you think about that? What you think about that? Tell me something. Tell me what you think about that. You wait for the gift. Responsibility feels heavy until you realize it's freedom. And responsibility feels heavy until you realize it's freedom. Because once you own your choices, nobody owns you. Think about that. Once you realize, you know, because you're going to be your own man. Huh? All right, check this out. James Baldwin said, not everything his face can be changed. Nothing changed until his face. Now hit the other button. Acceptance isn't weakness. It's a doorway to acceptance isn't weakness. It's the doorway to power. You stop fighting life, and life stops fighting you. You begin to notice lessons where you used to see laws. Start building instead of blaming. And this is how life works, man. You have to accept what comes your way, man, because it's only lessons that get you to your blessing. Like I tell people, your choices dictate you. Adversity and your adversities are your lessons to your blessing. Once again, your choices shape your adversity. Lessons to get you to your blessing. So you got to go through your adversities to get to your blessing. But you have to understand. Adversities are to make you stronger, to build you to be better, not worse. To wait and to get. There comes a quiet moment when you finally say, I can't control everything, but I can control me. When you take responsibility, everything that you do is in your hands. It's up to you to control them or somebody else. So it's about your choice. You make the right choices, life is great. You make the wrong choices, it's going to be difficult. Huh? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. That's where growth begins, not in the noise or of excuses, but in the silence of ownership. Taking responsibility. That's what I can change. The most dangerous story you'll ever tell is the one where you have no control. Rewrite that story. God, God Quran 286. God does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. He's not going to give you more than you can bear. Just listen to your blessing. You got to do the right thing, and it comes in time. It took me almost 60 years to get this, but inshallah, I got it. It's about doing the right thing no matter what, because God is always watching. The strength is always accepted, just uncovers it. You got to accept it. Once you accept it, you heal, you do the right thing. I had that in me the whole time, and I was doing that. That's great. You're great. Gotta go to Tacc. I don't speak. Hello, hello, hello. Gotta go down. Now get close to it and speak properly. That might- You say you completely agree. I need some more followers, some more subscribers, some shares. For a whole level. Some more likes, some shares. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rich Coleman. I'm bringing you Tacc. Through adversity come change. I'm reading chapter 3 of my book, Embrace the Journey. Walking it, not fighting it. Growth doesn't arrive all at once. It unfolds mile by mile. You'll want shortcuts. You'll look for detours, but the journey has its own rhythm, and you can't rush revolution. Ecclesiastes 9:11. The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but those who endure to the end. When you finally stop resisting the path, peace starts walking beside you. Even rough ground begins to feel sacred because you realize it shaped you. Everything you go through in life is just something that shapes and molds you to who you're going to be if you're paying attention. That's why I say you have to be real with you. When you take control of you, nobody can manipulate you or tell you this or tell you that. You know, this is about you, period. You know, and the gift of the process. People want purpose without the process. You know, we would love to live our lives backwards so we'll know what's coming and what's going, but we must live it forward to get the blessing. God gave us everything at once. We would lose our mind. We wouldn't know what to do. We'd hurt ourselves. All kinds. The thing is this right here. Doing the right thing, man. Know that God is in charge and everything works for the best. But there's a process that polishes you. Diamonds aren't born shining, they're buried. So there, with the hardship, there's relief. Raw 94:5. You don't pray to skip the storm, you pray to stand through it. Every step teaches you how to keep faith while tired, how to love while healing. Oprah Winfrey once said, "Every problem is a gift. Without them, you wouldn't grow." She's right. The journey is both the teacher and the testament. See, I'm telling you things that I've gone through in life and other people going through life. And if they wasn't resilient, it would have been disaster. You have to be able to weather the storm. You have to be able to stand in the storm. You have to be able to do the right thing no matter what. And when you do that, man, life is a beautiful thing. I tell you, you know, with me going through all the things I went through, and another day, I explain my life. You know, 'cause it's more than this stuff. Book, you know, these are things that got me. I wanted to read a book so I can help others, so they. And this is what it's about. It's not about me. It's about us. We, because with my book, trust me, once you read this book, it's going to change your life. If you're a person that reflects, when you reflect, man, you're able to understand so many different things because you look at it at a different angle. Most of us don't do it. We don't reflect. We just let it roll. But when you reflect in life, and life shows you so many things. That's why you have to pay attention. And you just God showing you what things can happen and how you have to maneuver to get through them. You know, every time something happens, people get smarter how to maneuver. You know, when when I was in prison, the police would take this or take that. People found a way to get what they needed. Just makes you smarter, but you gotta pay attention. And if you don't, it's gonna go over your head. You're not gonna, you know. It's a very great lesson and blessing. The math is a mystery. You want answers before you move, but faith gives you steps before it gives you maps. Think about that. Faith gives you steps before it gives you maps. Through adversity comes change. You gotta go through it to get to it. There's no other way around it. And we want to do the easy route. Easy route don't work. Easy route always leave you messed up. That's how it goes. Now, let me finish reading. Abraham didn't get directions. He got instructions. Go. And that's what he did. He went to Pharaoh. He took his wife and his kid to the desert. He did so many different things. He went to the burning bush. Found the girls with the water in, putting water. So he took on that responsibility. So he's given lessons, instructions. Go. That's what embracing the journey means. Trust the road enough to walk it without full disability. You don't know what's coming, but you know that God got your back, and you're gonna deal with it. And when you look back, you'll see the pattern. Every closed door was a redirection. Every delay is disguised blessing. Look, sometimes you doors closed. That was a room you wasn't meant to be in. All you got to do is keep walking down the hall. There's more doors, and that's the door. And if it opens, that's what God wants you to be. You know, but you got to understand that all closed doors is not, bad. It's redirection. It's where you're supposed to be. Like I did multi-level marketing. They tell you got to get through all your no's to get to your yeses. I understand you're gonna have more no's than have yeses. But them no's, that's right. No light without dark, no rain without cloud. That's right. It's all together. It's all together. And when you look back, you'll see the pattern. Every closed door was a redirection. Every delay at the sky's blessing. Raw 90 steps. He found you lost, guided you. Check that out. He found you lost and guided you. Meaning you was out there acting crazy. Realize, man, everything starts and ends with God. I gotta do right. And when you do, man, it's a blessing. The traveler's truth. The more you grow, the more you realize you were never lost, just learning. Like I tell you, there's no instructions to this. We have to learn trial and tribulation. Thing is, like I said, get knocked down times, get up 10. You get knocked down 100 times, get up 101. Always get up more than you fallen. But you got 100 lessons. You got 10 lessons that you learn. It's going to help you to grow, to be better, to do better. Every stumble held direction inside. You get that? Every stumble, when you was falling, there was something in there to tell you, look, man, don't continue. How life is. The goal isn't to arrive unscared, unscarred. It's to arrive awake. You wanna have bruises. That's part of life. You can have bumps and bruises. Get around it. But what you can do is arrive awoke, doing that. Man, look, and that's what I have so forth and so. When you embrace your journey, you stop fearing the unknown, start seeing God's handwritten in every. You start like He makes no mistakes, so everything He puts you through is a lesson and a blessing. It's how you look at it. Let me get the light on. Why you ain't get on the bed? Yeah. Now we're going to chapter 4, the wall of adversity. Like I told you, you got to put all your stuff on that wall. Hmm? Whatever you want, whatever you want. I'm cool with it. You know, you got to throw it all on the wall. Then you got to face it, but you got to face it with honesty. Because when the road ends, that's when the rubber meets the road. There comes a point when the lessons stop whispering, start shouting. It means you're not paying attention. Or you're paying attention, you're here. And when you're here, you got to take the action. That's the wall. Tell it, no, it's time for you to face this thing. It's the moment life says you've learned enough from comfort. Now learn from pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, pipes. You know, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. Isaiah 40. Adversity isn't proof you're cursed. Proof you're called. Walls appear right before breakthrough because they separate the ones who want change from the ones who are ready for it. The difference is wanting and doing it. A lot of people want it, but they don't go after it. And if you don't go after it, whose fault is it? Think about the weight of the wall. You'll feel stuck. You'll pray and nothing will move. You'll wonder if God's going quiet, but sometimes silence and God 3130. Do not lose hope nor be sad. This is God telling you, I got you. The wall doesn't block your path. It is your path. It's only through adversity comes change. You gotta face the wall. You gotta go through it. It's there to teach persistence, to show you that strength isn't the absence of struggle, but the decision to keep moving. If Prince said sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. I know y'all know that song. Adversity adds contrast to life. It reminds you how bright life is. And if you look at life for real, life is a great thing when things are great. Beautiful thing. You'll give your left arm for it not to stop. But life happens. You know, things happen. The pressure and the proof. Every diamond, every pearl, every masterpiece forms under pressure. You know that when the world feels heavy, it's not pressure, it's shaping you. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet he came out freer than most people ever are. That's what happens when you turn a wall into a classroom. We will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and loss, but give good tidings to the patient. God, 2:155. Patience isn't waiting quietly, it's working faithfully. Keep building even when nothing seems to be because something always is. Life, you just have to do the right thing, no matter what. You just got to keep doing the right thing. I'm gonna do this chapter here, and then I'm gonna close out. The climb. The wall will try to convince you it's permanent. It's a mirror meant to show you how much you gathered on the way there. When you finally climb it, you'll realize it's worth. You'll see how every door redirect toward the higher. That's the rhythm of grace, upward even through pain. I'm gonna stop there for today. I'll be back tomorrow. And no, but I put in over 2 hours. I don't want to give them too much, because that there's only I was looking for one person. Yeah, but like this. No, no, no. First, so that's how you dismiss. Stream. No, no, wait, wait. Like that. Yeah, I got them right there. So next time you enter stream, you got an outro video. You see, I got the intro. Yeah. You got an outro. So what you do is you play the outro. Like that. Push that. I don't know. That's what. Remember the outro.